I would like to call on stage our dear friends of L'Oréal. We have Elizabeth Araujo with us. She's a board member of CEDEP, as well as the managing director for Europe of the Active Cosmetic Division. We have Yasmina. Yasmina is a good friend of ours, and she's the International Learning Director for Leadership and Culture. And our dearest friend, David Anera, who is the Group Culture and Leadership Director of L'Oréal. And I also would like to recognize another special person who is here, all under the vigilant observation of Sylvie Dangelser, who just left L'Oréal for her retirement. Thank you, Sylvie.
Well, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everyone. Hello to our friends on the other side that are with us today. So, well, let me introduce myself in a quick words. I'm Elizabeth Araujo. I'm not celebrating my 50th birthday today yet, but I'm celebrated my 25th birthday at L'Oréal. So it's been 25 years since I've begun at L'Oréal, and I'm in charge of Active Cosmetic Division for the Europe zone, as Thomas was saying. So with brands like you may know, like La Roche-Posay, Vichy, CeraVe, or SkinCeuticals. So I share the stage today with two very important people for the relationship of L'Oréal and CEDEP. So the first one is David, who has been closely working with CEDEP for the past 22 years, you said, right? And designing the group management policy. And I also have with me Yasmina Jaidi, who is going to take the baton from David in very soon, in charge of L'Oréal University for Leadership and Culture. And we will be taking the relationship with CEDEP from now on. So we're very honored to be with you today on stage. It's quite impressive to see such an assistant. And I'd like to begin maybe with just a little anecdote. I'm sure you all had the feeling when you came in, coming to the campus. I know that usually when you work at L'Oréal, you're supposed to say that time doesn't have a hold on you. You know, we are using a fantastic product every day in our bathroom. And I must say that when I came here this morning, it's actually exactly the feeling I had. I felt that the time didn't pass by. I felt projected almost 15 years ago when I came here for the first time at CEDEP. I was full of expectation. You know, it was a real privilege. It was a reward. I was about to discover this famous CEDEP that all L'Oréalians were talking about with such an history. David had formed generations of leaders, including me, and he had sold me very well the CEDEP experience. So it was all an experience to come here as a real Parisian. Coming to Fontainebleau and Forêt de Fontainebleau is quite an adventure, so you have to find the place. But I must say that what I found coming here was more than a harbor. I was really looking for the hidden gem, and I found more than a gem coming to CEDEP, because it has actually shaped the leader I'm striving to be today. I'm still striving on a day-to-day, and as every first time that, when you do something for the first time, you never forget. I'm sure you all remember your first time and of everything. And the first time of CEDEP was when it was really a marking moment, and it was the first time I was also discovering what executive education can be. So as I was saying, sorry, I'm going to turn. I don't have the talent of Suresh. I have some notes to go through my story. As I was saying, it really gave me a space that was different. I never had the experience of executive education. I was educated in France in a more classical way, and coming to CEDEP was an experience because for the first time I was able to actually take this step back that you need to breathe. I mean, we all breathe here, in this fantastic environment. To also get inspired by other leaders, by the example of other leaders, because when I have the chance of working for 25 years in the same company, but I have the chance to be exposed, and I need to be exposed also to other type of leaders and to get inspired. It was also the opportunity to boost my confidence that you need as a leader, and to reinforce my attachment to the group. I had the chance to join the board last year after a little jump in time. 15 years later, I had the chance to join the board, and I feel very honored to be able to join the board. And I was able to experience from the inside this pioneering spirit I connected to when I came here as a participant. I was really impressed. I never had actually the chance to share it with the other board members, but it's my first also board experience. And I really discovered, this pioneering spirit that is deeply ingrained in what is stated in the mission of the CEDEP, a unique global executive education club where minds meet, grow, and succeed together. And this mission, I believe, is more modern and relevant than ever. This institution has a very, very strong identity, yet it's drawing its strengths for the diversity and the collaborativeness of its member. It has a unique stability, yet it's fast-moving, it's taking initiative, it's collaborative, and it's providing answers to new challenges that we've all been facing, and God knows that what we had to face in the past years. So these characteristics are really unique to the success of CEDEP. And we are indeed in this very inflection point where things are changing. Each time we go to a conference, everybody's talking about this fast-moving pace and how we react to it. You know that at L'Oréal, we have this say that, stealing it from our former CEO, François Dalle, seize what's starting. And this is exactly what we have to do now, seize what's starting. The pandemic has completely changed our behaviors, maybe forever. The workplace is no exception to this revolution. I mean, now when you are thinking about the workplace, I'm sure that there is no single manager who is wondering how they should manage this workplace, which is not a place anymore, but which is offline, online, in the cyberspace also. So it's, and still you have to keep the people at the center. So how do we do that? And this new context creates such an uncertainty that at the same time, it's a unique opportunity to reset things, to create innovative solutions, not just for the current challenges that we are witnessing now, but really for the long term to strengthen the foundation of how we work and how we operate. We say never waste a good crisis, and that's exactly what's happening now. So how do we do for the future? And as such, the ways that CEDEP develop itself today, through the new partnership, the enriched and open ecosystem that we're building, is a great example of its ability to actually seize what's starting and to make the best of all these underlying opportunities that we have now. So CEDEP is showing its ability to get prepared for the future and its challenges. I can see that it's, I'm discovering it now, but I can see that it's deeply anchored in this 50 years that we are celebrating today and showing its agility and, and the connection to the world challenge. But now I'm going to turn towards David. Because when we talk about a 50-year anniversary, usually when you celebrated a 50-year relationship, it's a one-of-a-kind relationship. So usually when you meet a couple like that, you say, so how did you meet? What happened? How did it all begin? So maybe, David, you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, first, Elisabeth, thank you, because it's absolutely beautiful to see your story and how much CEDEP has impacted your own career. And it's glad because at the end of the day, for 22 years, I was always waking up in the morning thinking about the management of L'Oréal and how we can help and support you. So that's very rewarding. And rewarding for CEDEP because indeed, it started in the late 60s. Alors, you said, Suresh, it was like a dream, but Guy Landon and François Dalle, at the beginning, they had a kind of issue. And the issue is that L'Oréal was very small at the time, and François Dalle was preparing the internationalization of the group. And with people who were just self-made men, without so much of education. So they said, well, we need to find an idea. And what happened is that there were a kind of a learning expedition that Guy Landon participated to. And so this is when they discovered the first corporate university at Crotonville, GE, General Electric. They found that fantastic, and Guy Landon came back to talk about François Dalle, and he said, well, there is an idea there, but of course we are too small, we cannot afford. So, first there is a need, and of course there is a constraint. We do not have the money to do it. So in that case, you need to do it in a collaborative way. And they find the idea of, which is very modern, to create like a kind of co-op, a consortium of companies that would deliver executive education. And the idea was to create the first executive MBA. So that was the idea. Then François Dalle was very close to Antoine Riboud, and I think the two companies are still, very close. We are cousins, we always say. And Antoine Riboud and François Dalle, they had a special vision about the company, a humanistic one, and both companies wanted to reconcile, I would say, an economical need and a social need. And they said, well, great. So they got together with other companies, mostly French, and then European one, and of course Tata at one point. And they came to discuss to the dean of INSEAD at the time to create something that didn't exist at INSEAD at the time. There were no exec head at the moment. So that's the story. So now over time it has happened a lot of things. And I think CEDEP has always been a special place for us, like our, I would say, campus, corporate university, which is a shared one, but still the one where we create our identity. And I think we have been very loyal to CEDEP, as CEDEP has been very loyal to us. So it's a beautiful relationship. And overall, I can say in summary that we have done 4 things. First thing is exec ed. The second thing is leadership development program, like Leaders for Change, Transition to General Management. There are programs like that, which was not the first skill of CEDEP, but it became, and it's now a strength. That's the second one. The third one is corporate glue. That means numbers of gathering, creating bonds, discussing about the loyal culture, this vision, but with an outside perspective. Professor helping you to decipher the special code of the company with an outside-in perspective. And the fourth one, I would say it's topical program like safety and leadership, or the program that are more skills-based like sales excellence, etc., that we have especially in the Lux division. And here the idea is very simple. You have an issue, typically a safety culture. So we started today with that. And then we do not have a safety culture. Maybe DuPont has a safety culture. Maybe there are other members. And CEDEP is providing the solution. So that means you do not come to CEDEP with, by waiting about what are they going to provide to you. You just come with an issue, and then something can start. So that's the idea. So overall, that was the answer to the question, I guess, Elizabeth.
Totally. And while I was preparing this speech for today, I looked at the speech that Jean-Paul Agon gave 10 years ago for the 40th anniversary. So I'm trying to substitute a little bit Jean-Paul. It's not an easy task. And I was looking at his work. I was really impressed to see that they're still super modern and completely in line with what we want to do and we want to build. So I'm just going to read his word. He was saying that we were sharing this common vision of what a company should be, a company which has a fundamental belief in the human being, a company which is convinced that men and women can surpass themselves and continually improve, a company which gives primacy to the individual of our corporate structure. So I was wondering, after these 22 years that you've been saying and illustrating the 50 years, so you explained us a little bit what we've built together. Like, can you tell us how many people have gone through the CEDEP with L'Oréal? And
I think you said it's 9,000, right? Overall, so it's yes, and so we have achieved here a critical mass, and that was the idea of François Dalle. He wanted to create a critical mass of people. We do not have a united way of thinking, but a united language. That's the idea. Then he said, I want CEDEP to kill the spirit of l'esprit de gestion, comment on dit? Gestion. A kind of accounting spirit. You know, he wanted CEDEP to be a school for entrepreneurship. And you just demonstrated, Thomas, that you are still continuing with all the startups that are in the room. So that was another idea. Training generalists, people with a rounded point of view. And I think the impact you talked about is coming from something which is in the room. The professors of CEDEP are friends to us. They love us, and at the same time, they challenge us. So I'm going to give some names. Alors, of course, I'm going to start. There is, of course, Claude Michaud, and Dominique Hellé, who was so close to us and such a lovely person. I'm thinking about, of course, Dominique Jacquet in the room. I don't know where he stands now. You know, thank you, Dominique. So Dominique, even if he doesn't teach every day, he follows the stock of L'Oréal, etc., and knows exactly when we react to COVID, what we do from a financial standpoint and from an identity standpoint. So thank you so much. Of course, we have Jules Godard. We did a program even last year. Yves Doz, etc. So Jens Meyer, Nana van der Mut, etc. And all those people, they are, I mean, it's not people that we take out of a shelf like a professor and we come back. No, it's a relationship. And that means that it just changed everything. So it's, as you said, with Guy Landon, that means people are first as compared to structure, etc., but it's the way the relationship is built. So it changed everything.
It's within the company. Like the way I feel it as a participant is that I felt that CEDEP was part of really going to CEDEP was like going home. Yeah. So
because of that. Yeah.
Congratulations for this super strong collaboration over the past 50 years. So maybe Yasmina, you can tell us a little bit about the future, and now that we passed about the past. So how do we open toward the future?
Thank you, Elisabeth. Can you hear me like this? Because I tried to be creative, not to have the mic in my hands. First, I would like to say that I would like to say to you, David, that I'm really, I feel very honored and privileged to take over this relationship with CEDEP from you, and also executive development from you. So it's something that is really touching for me. And actually, since François Dalle's time, and also through your unique eye as an embarked sociologist, as you like to say, we've always had at L'Oréal a vision on leadership and on executive development. And at the moment when we are going through deep transformations, it's really interesting, this is something I like to do also, to step back and to try to see, okay, where is leadership heading today? And it's common to say that, as you said, indeed, Elisabeth, today's world is really marked by strong disruptions and the lack of visibility. And in this new context, it's quite obvious that leaders find it really hard to articulate a clear strategic plan, find it hard also to show a clear path to their teams and to engage them and to create commitment around them. Besides, there's also this strong feeling of anxiety that prevails in all our companies, with a real impact on people's engagement and commitment. So this is about the context. And in this context, I think it's quite interesting to have a look and to tell ourselves, okay, what does it mean for leaders today to have an impact and to bring performance and a kind of meaningful performance to the world? And it's true that in this new context, and we've seen that with the pandemic, engaging people, motivating them has become really hard, especially through screens. How do you create this connectedness that you have with a cup of coffee, or when you have an informal encounter in a corridor, when you are just working with your teams, some of them being with you, yes, in the office, but others being on the other side of the screen. So this is really a riddle and a big challenge for our leaders today. And the answer to that, what we really believe in at L'Oréal, and I think it's really deeply ingrained in our DNA, is the fact that more than ever, the human magic happens when there is a strong quality of human connection. And at L'Oréal, we strongly believe in that. And I think that the hard times we are going through really emphasize this necessity to really focus on the power of human connection. And this period we are in, actually, puts our leaders in quite a difficult posture, I would say. Because if we look at the way success was maybe measured for leaders until now or before the crisis, it was really about this ability to formalize a clear strategic plan, to show a clear trajectory. I'm not saying it's not true anymore. However, I believe that this is, leaders have an impact today also by showing a strong strong presence, and by being able to, it's not anymore about showing off and, you know, being like the brilliant leader, of course having strong communication skills and showing a clear path, but it's also about how you as a leader create a relational world around yourself and a qualitative relational world around yourself. What do I mean by that? It's really about questioning. I think that leaders more than ever need to question the quality of the atmosphere they create around themselves and that they spread around themselves. And this goes beyond, you know, the messages that leaders can express or share. This goes even beyond the particular context we are in today. I'm talking here about the nature of the presence, the nature of and the quality of the impact that you have as a leader through your attitude with the people you interact with and with your teams. Questions like, okay, what emotions arouse when I am walking in a corridor as a leader? What impact do I have emotionally on the people around me? How do I interact with others when I'm in meetings, when I'm in one-to-ones with my teams? This is actually such questions that were quite neglected in the past, that were not really looked at, that become quite key and essential. Of course, the expertise of the leader, the strategic vision. And at L'Oréal, we have this wonderful model that I find really relevant and still very relevant beyond the crisis, of the leader and the enabler, meaning that we have leaders who have this vision, who have this ability to embark their teams through a strong and clear vision, and enabler, meaning that they create the space for collective action to happen. And this happens through human connection. And more than ever, I believe that we need to support our leaders in understanding this emotional space that they create, this emotional color that they bring with their teams when they interact with their teams and ecosystems. And we need to clearly help them find, actually, what they want to bring out and what's the heart of their leadership signature and what's the heart of their intention as leaders. So kind of intention could be, okay, as a leader, do you want to create an innovative ecosystem around you? Or do you want, as a leader, to put more emphasis on collective dynamics and co-creation? And all of this means having another type of presence that you really need to think about to make sure that you have the impact you want to bring to the world.
We still have work to do as leaders, I hear.
Yeah, I believe also it's an endless journey, and this is the beauty of it.
No, it's fine. Totally agree. This is the beauty of it, and you're talking about questions means answers also, and this is a fantastic opportunity also for creation. You were talking about customized answers before. That's exactly what we do here, and what we can collaborate to work on with CEDEP. I think all together we really have a role to play to propose this purpose-driven vision that you were talking about of leadership that really puts human connection at the center, even in our hybrid world with screens. So let's see how we can replace the coffee that you were talking about. But this coffee has its importance in the human connection, and so how we can really play this purpose-driven vision. We have a role to play also in offering our leaders a space where they can step back, as I was saying, where they can trust themselves, where they can have open up conversation to outside ecosystem, and where they can meet other leaders that can inspire them. I'm very happy to meet all the new generation of leaders that we have outside today, for example. That's exactly the kind of thing that create the innovation. And we also have a role to play to make our vision of leadership that you were talking about to come true. A vision that enables each leader to find their unique signature. You were talking about scent. I would even dare to say fragrances, yes. Coming from L'Oréal, the unique fragrances as leader. And as such, I'm pretty sure that the next years of collaboration with CEDEP are going to be a thrilled one. I'm thrilled to work with CEDEP as a sparring partner. And I cannot close without saying, because our next generation of leaders is really worth it. And because we are CEDEP. Thank you.